gentlemen, let's get it.
I thought it was
I,
good.
you thought it was good? All right, well, we can continue on in the episode. So, Preston, dude, I think this is like episode 10 of our fourth season, man. That's,
Yes.
we moving along. Hey, welcome back to the Slide Podcast. Sometimes I forget to introduce us. And, joining us tonight on his very first podcast as a co-host, Mr. Preston Chapman. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm staying busy. Got a lot of stuff going on. Show's doing well, and I work for the Bananas, and man, things are crazy with the Bananas like always. So I'm good, man. What's been going on with you?
Nothing. Just training and sports.
Nothing except training, dude. That's a lot of stuff. Like when you say training and sports, like what kind of sports we talking, Preston? I think this is like an update from like a year and a half ago when you were on as a guest. So what's been going on for the last year and a half?
I've just been playing football, baseball, track, and I just started Olympic weight training.
Yeah, I know we had your Olympic weight coach on last season, Daniel Marks, right?
Yes.
Is he pretty hard on you in the gym?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I wanted to make sure to put that on record for him, as we know he's hard on you. So, but hey, that's a good thing though. You get mad at him a lot.
No.
No,
No.
it's all right to get mad at him because he needs to push you over the edge a little bit. So, hey, how's baseball going, man?
Great. It's going great.
Yeah. Anything new happened this past season that was new or different for you?
My team moved up to 13.
Oh, you moved up to 13U?
Yes.
What'd you see different in that?
Just farther base pass and a little faster.
Yeah. What about the players? The players a lot different?
A lot taller.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to tell you. I mean, how tall are you?
5'5", 5'6".
Yeah. I mean, and you still got probably a big growth spurt that you're going to hit. Dude, some of these kids I see at these baseball tournaments, I feel like the kid. Like, I'm looking up to a 13-year-old, and I'm like, boy, I know you got your birth certificate with you. Because ain't nobody believing, like, you trying to play in this tournament. But I don't know what they feeding people today, Preston. I didn't get any of it. So, all right, man. Well, look, it's your first episode, so I want you to have fun, relax. I always make, a lot of silly, corny jokes just because that's who I am. And sometimes I can't help it. What I will tell you is, so during an episode, this is Lila's invention. During the episode, I have a tendency to ramble, right? Sometimes, like, we don't even know why I'm talking about what I'm talking about anymore. So what Lila invented is what's called the yap clap. All right. So
Yes.
if I or our guest or anyone starts to ramble and we're like, all right, I'm about to go to sleep, all we got to do is that conversation stops and then you get to redirect the conversation. So that's what we call the yap clap. Got it?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get to our guest. So joining us tonight, I'm going to tell you, like, this dude is so impressive. And I've just got to know the dude. But joining us from Cornell University out of center field, Mr. Jakobi Davis. Sir, how are you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. Preston, I hope I don't ramble too much tonight, dog.
Hey, put it on him, Preston. Put it on him. Hey, and same for you, Jakobi. If I start rambling, man, you just got to shut me up sometimes.
I'm getting the hands warm. But
There you go.
I
Put you some
appreciate
powder in them. Put you some powder, All right, dude. Well, look, man, I've already said that you're a pretty awesome dude, and I want our listeners and our watchers to get a chance to learn about you. Okay, so we start every episode off with our guests of saying, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, where you play ball at, and tell us what your favorite cereal is. Okay.
Sounds
All right,
good
let's
to
go.
me. All right, I am from Sarasota, Florida. born and raised. And like you already mentioned, I played baseball over here at Cornell University. I'm a senior center fielder for us and also a captain of the baseball team. And if I had to go with a favorite cereal, it'd probably be a Cinnamon Toast Crunch, dude. You can't go wrong with that one.
Man, that's my competition right there. Like it's number two. Like number one, I'm a Fruity Pebbles fan, and I don't know if it's just because that's my favorite, but
Pebbles.
that do what?
Fruity Pebbles over Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
100%.
What?
Like the flavor, like man, I'm not like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's like I'm eating old person cereal or something.
Oh, now he's trying to do too much. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do us like that, bro.
Preston, what's your favorite cereal?
I would say probably Tricks or Frosted Flakes.
Hey, look, you are the first person to ever say tricks on the show. So that's a big ding ding right there for you. And Frosted Flakes can't go wrong with Frosted Flakes, man. Nah, just put a little sugar on it, man. It's the good stuff. So, all right, Jakobi, man, you're at Cornell University, which is also known as an Ivy League school. And in order to be playing in the position that you are today, captain of the team, starting center fielder, like where did the journey start? Like, there's leadership that I already know that you have the capacity for. Like, where did the journey start, man? And how did you know baseball was the thing?
Most definitely. Journey started 4 years old for me, honestly. I mean, I grew up through all the little league ranks down there in Sarasota, Florida. Played all the little league. I started at T-ball, man. Like I said, 4 years old. So that's really where the baseball journey started for me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a quick little history on how I got to Cornell. My sophomore year of high school, they do these things called like little baseball camps where you can come out here and you do like a mini perfect game type thing. So you run a
Yeah.
60 dash, they watch you throw, they watch you hit, do some BP, and then they do a little game. So my sophomore year of high school, before Cornell could actually reach out to me, what I did is I reached out to all the schools that I'd like to go play ball for. It was Georgia Tech, Stanford, Cornell, you name it. All of them having engineering as their backbone, and then also being able to play baseball with it. So I said, cool. Cornell was the first one to reach back out to me, and I just so happened to be attending a high school level engineering camp at Cornell for that summer.
Oh
And so
wow.
end of that camp, it was called the Catalyst Camp over here at Cornell. Right at the end of it, on that Saturday, they were running the Cornell baseball camp. So I went out there, ran 6.5, 60, hit a home inside the park home run to my first at bat. They were like, "We want you, dog."
Uh,
Now, one other thing that got me here is just like Preston, I played pretty much every sport under the sun growing up. I even tried ballet and dance. Like I did everything active. No, yeah, man, I did that ballet back in the day. Third grade, eighth grade. Um, now I
Look,
played.
that sounds like some Tom Brady stuff, dude.
You
Like,
got to
Tom
flex,
Brady and
man.
Michael Vick.
yeah,
Big time,
like
big time.
balance. I mean, I don't know, man. Preston might need to get you a tutu, man.
Uh,
Now, go ahead,
yeah,
Jacoby.
yeah, it's all of that. So it helps with flexibility, all that good stuff. But the thing that really solidified me in baseball is during high school, I played basketball as well as baseball. And, I was kind of torn between the two my freshman and sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And my sophomore year of high school, we played Mount Verde Academy. They were number 2 in the nation at that time down in Florida. And there was a kid about my height. He was like 6'3", 6'4". I forget exactly what his name is. But during that game against us, he did a 360 windmill and dunked on one of our guys. And I said, all right, I'm not doing that, so I need to go find another sport where I can stand out at that time. So I figured I had that competitive advantage in baseball where I didn't have much in basketball.
Wow. All right. 360 windmill dunk. All
I
right,
know.
that's like some who would do Allen Iverson, like who could pull something like that off?
I forgot his name, but it's the best dunker in the NBA.
Sean Kemp back in the day with the Sonics. Like, man. All right, dude, I
Big
yeah.
time.
Well, man, that's I think you did pretty good though in your choice, man. Preston, go ahead, man.
What is it like studying at an Ivy League school for engineering?
Most definitely. That's a good question, man, because for me, engineering was honestly the reason why I chose Cornell over a lot of other schools because I knew that one day I was going to play my last inning of baseball. So for me right now, I'm trying to play professional baseball. So hopefully I get to play for the next 10 years, right? That's what I'm banking on. But eventually I'm going to be done with baseball. Then what? That's why I chose Cornell so that I could have this engineering degree that I could hold on to and pursue for the rest of my life. Now, how do I balance that? Well, the thing that I kind of lock into is like three pillars. So you have a social life, right? Like going out, hanging out with friends and all that good stuff. You have an academic life, so doing your homework, attending classes, all that good stuff. And then you have an athletic life, and that's hitting the weight room, that's doing all your stretching, doing all your baseball, all those things you need to do. At any given time, you can only be a master of two of those things. So for me, in the last couple of years, how I've been able to balance that is by mastering both my academics and my athletics and letting some of that social fall to the wayside, bro. So I really just locked into the books and locked into baseball, um, and let that social life fall away a little bit.
That's pretty hot. Like, have the classes? Like, did you do the work that you needed, like in high school, to prepare you for Cornell?
Most definitely. So to put it in perspective, Preston, grades on a 4.0 scale?
I didn't hear you.
Are your grades on a 4.0 scale? And
I'm pretty
and
sure.
and Yeah, so you're in a 4.0 scale. So I was in a 4.0 scale too. So coming out of high school on a 4.0 scale, I had an unweighted 4.0 GPA, but on a weighted scale, I had a 5.2 GPA because I did something that was called IB when I was in high school. It's like AP courses and all that good
Yep.
stuff. So I was top of the class. Definitely.
Wow, that's impressive, man. Like, hats off. Because you know what, as a coach in college with those type of study habits, that type of academic background, like you deserve a shot. That's your ticket right there into most conversations, dude. I mean, do you get that, Preston?
Yes.
Like, that's I've always used the term like you got to earn a ticket to some conversations, and like there's certain things that could be on your resume that essentially always gives you a ticket, and that right there, man. I think any coach MLB coming up next are gonna love that about you, man. So, well, so there's so much, dude. Like when you went from high school, like the competitive level, I think I've said like so many times already, and I can't
We
stand
should
it.
start. We should start like.
Dude, we should. You'd be amazed when I edit these episodes how many times the word "likes" used by everyone. So, anyway, so as you were playing high school baseball, and then you start the transition into Ivy League baseball, like what was the biggest difference that you saw?
I would say the biggest difference, in terms of competition level, you honestly you reach an equilibrium pretty quickly. Being down in Florida, especially in my conference where I was playing, I saw a lot of velo in high school, which was dope because that's usually the hardest thing to kind of grasp,
You're
moving
right.
up. I would say the biggest like, oh, I have to lock in moment was realizing that once you get to the next level, you are committing to a job. Like it's not just something you go do after school with your boys anymore and you get out there and you kind of mess around. It's like you are pretty regimented. Like I'm up at 5:30 every morning. I go lift before classes. I have classes all day. Then directly following classes at about 3 o'clock, I go to practice, do specific group work, then whatever the team needs, and then I go home, eat, sleep, rinse, repeat the next day. So that was probably like the biggest adjustment for me was just how much of a time commitment it is at the next level.
Yeah, but coming back to your high school work ethic, that was an
Most
easy
deaf.
adjustment. Had to have been for you, right?
Most deaf.
Yeah, I mean that's how it equates, man. It translates. All right, Preston, you take over.
Uh, what was it like when you got your offer to go to Cornell?
You want okay. Here's the reenactment. Coach Pep is my head coach here. Coach Pep Pacelli. Hey, Coach Pep, how you doing? What, you want to give me an offer? Come to Cornell University? Boom! Heck yeah! And then I ran around the house a couple of times, I think. Mom and dad were running around the house a couple of times, I think. And then I turned on some music and I was dancing for about 5 hours straight, bro. That if I can encapsulate the feeling, that was the feeling of committing to Cornell University. Yeah.
That's where's your school you want to go to, PMAC?
Probably Vanderbilt.
Okay. Vandy. Hey, you got to put some work in there, man.
I've got
You,
two friends. I got two friends that went to Cornell first, and then because of COVID, they had a fifth year, so they only had 3 years of playing Preston at Cornell, which means they still had 1 year of eligibility left in college. And they both went to Vanderbilt. One went for basketball, and the other one went for football. Pretty dope stuff.
hey, Vanderbilt's it's no joke there, man. That's a baseball school. Yeah. Well, look, let's talk a little bit about youth and your days playing as a kid. Like, what's your best memory, man? Thinking back at your childhood, the baseball field, the diamond. Like, what's your best memories, man, coming out of those days?
It's pretty simple. We used to have Little League All Stars. Do they still
Mm-hmm.
do that?
Oh yeah, they do it
Preston,
here.
yeah, Preston. Do you ever do Little League All Star stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you would. So we used to stay at this hotel over in West Palm Beach. Forget the exact name of the hotel, but they used to have this big old pool, and one of the dads would get a football, and he'd be in the deep end, and we'd be kind of in the shallower end on the side of the pool. He'd throw the football up, and all of us would jump in at the same time and try to catch the football in the air. And we'd all land in the pool and all that kind of stuff. And then we'd also play wiffle ball while we were at that hotel, and when they had like a big grass lawn, and I mean what it felt like we were out there until 1 a.m. In reality, it was probably like 9 o'clock at night, but it felt like it was way longer. It just felt like time was endless during those times, man. That's probably my favorite memories, Little League All Stars.
That's Tell me what you took away from that, Preston.
Even though you're out at sports, you should still have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you notice like his memories wasn't about necessarily winning a specific game, right? It was the camaraderie and the time spent with the team. And, I feel like that's lost on so many people these days, man. And, you know, that's what we're hoping to change, a little bit. Hopefully we spark some interest to make a movement or something, but that's the good stuff, man. Like just having the friends and like just chilling and hanging out. Preston, what do you do when you're not like always into something like, whether it's the weightlifting, track, football, baseball? What do you do on your downtime, man?
I normally ride over to a local park and play basketball with my friends.
There you go.
You play any video games?
Yes, Fortnite and NCAA 25.
Oh, that's the football game?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Who's your favorite team on there? Who you go with?
Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. I
State?
go with Colorado.
Yeah, Ohio State. Yes.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, Ohio State. I can't hang. What? Dude, you're in Florida. How you gonna pull for Ohio State?
Because I met Jeremiah Smith 2 years ago.
Well, you know what? He was supposed to be a Miami Hurricane too, and he
Yes.
changed his recruitment. Like I got some bad blood for him right there. But look, dude, I'm a Hurricane fan, so I can never ever pull for Ohio State. I don't. There was we got robbed of a national championship. Either way, we ain't gonna talk about that no more. All right, dude, you said Colorado, Jakobi. Now,
Yeah.
dude, I'm gonna tell you, I love the Sanders, man.
Yeah. Tough.
Your boy T Hunt. Oh yeah,
Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you know him? Like, hold on, your boy. Like, oh, okay,
Travis Hunter, man, give me some clout on here. Now I don't know him for real.
dude. You know what? The cool part about it is they're all great people. Like beyond the sport, like they're good people. And like Dion is my bucket list #1 guest. So if you're listening, Dion, we need you on here. Dude, like I've looked up his agents, everyone trying to get him on here. But anyway, I love Dion, man. He's a phenomenal leader. And dude, man, he's like Denzel Washington to me. Those two are my role models, kind of. I don't see. This is where I can get talking about the Sanders, and I have to clap myself. All right, go on, Preston.
Um, when you were taking those courses for Cornell, was it hard, or was there a moment where you didn't want to do it no more?
Heck yeah. So coming in my freshman year, I have a great story for you. So like I said, coming out of high school, on a 4.0 scale, I had a 5.2. Like I had never gotten below a 90% on any exam, just like a perfectionist in a sense. So I got here my freshman year, and Cornell is historically known for being a super hard academic school, especially for engineering, because it's one of the most rigorous in the nation. Rigorous just means one of the hardest. So I got here my freshman year, and the first course that I had taken an exam, and they called them prelims here. It just means an exam. I took my first prelim in general chemistry for engineers. It's general chemistry. How hard can it be, Preston? So I sit there, take my exam. I feel not so good about it. We get the exam scores back. So what they do is they give you a breakdown. They give you what the class got as the average score on the exam, and then how the grades were distributed. They call it deviations. So you could be a deviation above or below. So we stepped into class the next day. Professor says, all right, the average on that exam, guess what the average was on that exam? Give me a percentage.
72.
40%. The average was a 40%. That's an F, dog. And your boy got a deviation below that, which means I got
Oh, snap.
8%. I'm looking at myself and I'm like, there is no way. Like I'm just not cut out for this. Like this just wasn't meant for me. And I talked to my parents, my biggest support system, mom and dad, Michelle and Curtis Davis, the goats. They kind of just kept breathing life into me, said, you got this. This is where you're supposed to be. Anyways, by the end of that semester, what they do is it's called curving classes. So they don't take your raw scores on all of the exams and all the homeworks. If let's say you got a 60% on all that stuff, it actually means you got a B plus. So by the end of the semester, I had a B plus. But every single exam for every single one of my courses, my freshman fall, so my first semester here, I didn't get above a 60% on any exam. So I was failing by every metric of the word. Yeah.
Wow. And what did it take, and what changes did you make to improve that? I'm sure that was like a major shock for you.
To the system. It's a major shock to the system. First of which, understanding that they're curving these classes. So they make them much harder than reality, simply so that when you get into the workforce later on, those problems that you face, you're better equipped to actually deal with them. So if you're getting 60%, it's really like you're going to end with a B plus or an A. Because I've only gotten 2 C's at Cornell. Everything else has been B's and A's. I've been passing things with flying colors. But the other part of that was tapping into my resources here at Cornell. That's probably one of the biggest things that I've done throughout my life, is tap into my village, what I call it. So I tapped into a lot of the professor resources. I tapped into a lot of my friends that were doing well in those classes. I said, hey, how do you study? Can I come study with you? Can I do homework with you? Can I pick your brain about different stuff? And so once I started to understand through my resources what were those things that were going to make me successful in the classroom, over time got me to where I am.
All right. Sorry, this is the dad in me coming out. So you talked about like how you asking, your friends, how do you study? Like, I think that's such an important question right there, man. Like, because I think the art of studying is like gone. I mean, Preston, what does your studying look like?
Probably going on with my tutor and spending about 30 minutes on the assignments I've worked on.
Yeah. Is there a subject that's harder than another for you?
Probably my math, because it's advanced and we work on a grade up.
Okay.
There you go. Now, you getting through it pretty good?
Yes, so far.
Dude, hey, you might want to take the Ivy League road too, man. I mean, he's
Just let me know. I'm gonna write that personal recommendation letter, dog. Just let me know.
hey, look, this is coming from someone who was like the head of his class.
Yeah,
Preston, he set the bar high, man. I'm gonna tell your dad afterwards this. You have committed to being first in your class. I'm just, we got a little laugh out of him. Did
I
you,
heard
you
that
heard
too.
it?
Yeah, I heard
There we
that
go.
too. Yeah.
But but that's the thing though. You see a lot of athletes. They're taking college athletes. They're taking easier, you know, studies. Now, not all. There's some like yourself that their studying is very important. But I mean, that's just impressive in itself. Is that you went the hard route. Really in a lot of cases, but you set yourself up for success when I mean no matter which direction you end up going. Now, speaking of that, well, before we move to the next step, we've said the word Cornell so many times. Do you watch The Office?
I did watch The Office. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the character Andy that went to Cornell?
Andy is so funny that you say that because the character, like, even though the dude who plays the character didn't actually go to Cornell,
Right,
he's
right.
been to Cornell times while I've been here, and I've actually got to meet him before.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is so cool.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, dude, like every time I hear somebody say Cornell, because he used to like go crazy about it on the show. So anyway, so thinking about like next steps for you, obviously it's graduating school, but I think the draft before you graduate.
No, draft happens in the middle of July.
Okay, so you're done by that point.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing to prepare for what could be coming up in the future?
Most definitely. Um, if you, if anybody, if Preston, because you just followed my Instagram, so you can see a lot of the stuff that I do. A big thing that I just did over this past summer and over this past winter break for my off season was I went to a place called Driveline Baseball. And they're basically, industry leaders, especially when it comes to all the tech and stuff like that. You get in this thing called a motion capture lab, and it's got like 30 different multi-million-dollar cameras on you and stuff like that. So I just found out the truth about exactly who I was as a hitter and exactly who I was as an athlete and what those gaps were that I needed to fill. For me, if we're going to get even a little bit technical, I need to create more space when I'm swinging and a little bit more separation when I swing so I
Okay.
can use the maximum amount of power that I need to. So understanding that and then being able to work with those guys there. I mean, I've worked with them for, a couple of months now to get myself there. And then on top of that, making sure that I have all the schoolwork out of the way and that I market myself as best as I possibly can so that over these next couple of months while I'm in my season, because Preston, I don't know if you know, but college baseball starts and Ivy League starts a week after them. So we start February 21st. And we go down, we play Duke. It'll be down in North Carolina. It's going to be sick, bro. So for these next couple of months, because we play from February 21st and we play all the way through May 10th, and then we have Ivy League championships and then the road to Omaha. That's what I'm trying to be on, baby, with Cornell baseball.
Hey, do
um,
it. Let's
so I'm gonna
go.
tell you, so for these next couple of months, all I'm focused on is having the most fun that I possibly can, and it's this idea of leaving these next couple of months, being able to look at myself in the mirror and say, there are no what ifs about my baseball journey.
There you go.
That's the biggest thing.
That's, and I'm gonna tell you, like, you're impressive, man. I know your parents have got to be like just ecstatic over the moon about their son.
Yeah.
Um, just the discipline and just man, good stuff, dude. Good stuff. I had a question that I was wanting to ask you. Oh, I'm sorry. If you had to write or summarize your scouting report, what would you say about yourself?
Don't throw this guy an inside heater.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I said don't throw this guy an inside heater, but to give you a little bit more on that, this dude's got wheels and he can do some damage and create some chaos on the base pad. So let's make sure that we're watching him there. And that would pretty much be the two big things for my
Okay.
scouting.
Who do you compare yourself, or who would you compare yourself to that's out in MLB these days, or
For me,
someone in history?
yeah. So, well, Curtis Granderson I love because he did a lot in his community back in the day. So I love
Mm-hmm.
him. But a current player, his Instagram handle is ZLaw. Lawrence Butler plays for the Oakland A's right now, and dude,
Okay.
he plays so much energy. Swings from the left side too. That's probably a player I would compare myself most to right now.
Dude, that's it, man. Like when you get there, because I don't think we have to say if, but
Oh,
like when you get there, like, man, show people you're having fun. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's where, and Preston, you can tell me your opinion on this, but I feel like that's where like MLB loses some of the fans is, I mean, everybody says baseball's boring. When in reality, it's nowhere near boring, but it's the players, man. And, do they look like they're having fun? De La Cruz, holy cow. Like, the dude's having fun. I mean, there's a handful of players, but and let me ask you this: what's your take on this? So, I work for the Savannah Bananas, right?
big time.
Everything we do is for the fans. All right. When the rules change, when anything is ever changed, it's for the fans, right? Nothing is ever communicated, talked about when it comes to dollars and cents. It's whatever's best for the fans. What if a major league athlete stood up on the podium and just addressed everything as we want to get better for the fans? What would that do? You know what I mean? Because they're always talking about themselves, or the team, what's best for the team, but when in reality, it's really what's best for the fans. Like, I feel like you would get a lot more involvement if you address things to the fans more so than the business. Kids don't care about the business. That's my
Big
two
time.
cents.
Big time. I would say too that not necessarily during game time, because during game time, that professional athletes, you go do your thing. I got mad respect for you. You put in the work, man. Whatever you decide to do on game day, do it. But it's community outreach, man. So when I was in Danbury, Connecticut this past summer, because when you're in college, Preston, during your college summers, you can either do internships and job type stuff, or you can go play collegiate summer baseball. So I went and I played collegiate summer baseball in a league called the NECBO. You might have heard of the Cape Cod League before.
Yep.
Then there's EO, and then there's a couple of other leagues and stuff like that. So when I was out there in the NECBO this summer, because I have Champions Voice, Aaron. Maybe we'll get to that on
Yep.
tonight's.
That's next.
I would get out into that community and I would talk to the kids that were around us. I mean, we literally played in a youth complex, and those kids were kind of straggling to our games at the beginning of the summer. And then I started actually actively reaching out to them and going and talking to them and going and watching their games, going and giving them instruction. And then by the end of the summer, I had little league dudes surrounding the entire field screaming and chanting for us. So it's just like by showing them that little bit of time, energy, and attention, they're going to do that back for you tenfold.
Oh
So I
my gosh. Yep.
definitely benefit from that for sure.
You
I have
know
a
it.
question.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Go ahead.
So I've been recently thinking about joining the public speaking program at my school. How was it like starting your company?
big time. I love it. So for me, boom, Champions Voice. I started this in 2023, but Preston, I'm gonna be real with you. This public speaking journey and the way that I'm able to speak and present now is because I started when I was your age. How old are you?
12.
12. You're starting at 12. I started at 12. Funnily enough. Do you know what the Boys and Girls Club is?
No.
All right, so there's Boys and Girls Clubs all over the place, and it's a nationwide youth program, basically. And so they have a whole bunch of different youth programs and stuff that you can tap into. And I started introducing different people at the Boys and Girls Club events. And that's how I got into public speaking when I was your age. Um, the best piece of advice I could possibly give you is that the earlier you start on these things, the better you're going to become. Big time.
Are you looking forward to starting public speaking, Preston?
Yes, I do it sometimes at my church.
Love it.
That's
Does it
great,
make you
man.
nervous? Does it make you nervous now?
No, not as much.
Not as much. Awesome. Because I'll tell you what, man, you're really good at presenting yourself well, and you do it well at just 12 years old.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
And Preston, dude, in a world where phones dominate people's attention, that skill set of being able to have a conversation with someone, look at their eyes, and hold a conversation, that in itself will separate you from most people your age.
Big time.
I mean, I would highly encourage it. Are you taking it for sure, or you haven't decided yet?
For sure.
There you go. Hey, and it's just like practice, dude. Just like what you just said. It'll start. You'll get nervous, and then with each at bat, it'll just get easier and easier, man. It's just reps.
Yes, that's dope,
And,
man.
yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's future. That's future planning, and that's awesome. Well, look, dude. So let's talk about Champions Voice, man. Tell our listeners, viewers, what Champions Voice is.
So in its simplest form is me. So I'm a public speaker, like we were just talking about, Preston. When I go out and I do keynote speeches, I get out into the community. I inspire this next generation. So as I continue to learn different things, as I continue to add things to my toolbox that make me successful, like habit stacking, like journaling, like getting up and being consistent with different things, like just those things that have tweaked mindset, I give to that next generation through my talks. So the biggest way that I can summarize that is that it took a village, right? It took a whole bunch of different people, places, experiences, and resources to make me the successful young man that I am today. So I want to, through Champions Voice, be a part of as many of today's youth villages as I possibly can so that they can achieve their respective sense of success.
It's incredible, and that's actually how I stumbled upon Jakobi. Is I saw Champion's Voice first, and then I'm like, all right, who's Champion? Whose voice? I got to figure this who this dude is. Well, how did you get started with it, man?
So I got started with this back in 2023, and I was doing a couple of talks just very locally because I was up here in Ithaca, New York. We would do summer camps and all that kind of good stuff. I'd get out there and I'd impact the youth, and it's always been something that I wanted to do. So, a little bit of backstory. My parents are both educators at the high school level, and they've taught abroad. So when I was in fifth grade,
Oh,
Preston, you'll get a kick out of this, Preston. In fifth grade, I lived in Mumbai, India. That's all the way over in Asia. Guess how long the plane flight was for me to get there?
7 hours.
19. I had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and breakfast again, all on the same airplane.
all
How
right.
do
Were
you,
you on one of those 2-story planes where, like, you
It
were?
was, and it had two stories. It had two stories. It had the first floor and second floor.
I've never been on one of those. I just thought they were for the movies.
No, that's crazy stuff. So moving on with the story. So my parents, they did that when I was in fifth grade, and they took me over to live in India for a whole year. I learned the language, all that good stuff. So just recently, so when I started this company back in 2023, my parents are doing another teaching opportunity. Instead of in Mumbai, India, they did it in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So they were over in Vietnam for 2 years. And
Wow.
so when I had first launched this business, I was going over to meet them during my winter break in 2023. And I had a couple of speaking engagements that I lined up at the international schools there to talk to them about the intersection of sports and the rest of your life and how you can integrate sports into your life to be successful in other things. And that's really what kick-started this business. That's what got me my first speaking opportunities. And from there, it's just kind of snowballed as I made my way back to the States. I've got all the artifacts now, meet people like you, and it's just been growing exponentially ever since.
What do you want to come of that, man?
Biggest thing is just being able to impact youth. Like this conversation right here tonight, being able to speak to Preston, being able to look at Preston. Biggest thing being like, yo, me and Preston look exactly alike. We both got the cool dreads, man. We're both biracial, you know what I'm saying? To be in a place where I can show kids physically, verbally, that they can be in the spaces where they are not at right now. That's the biggest thing that I want for this business, to allow today's youth to be able to conceive things that they might not have otherwise believed possible.
That's right. Now, for Preston, he's just starting this journey of public speaking. You've exercised that muscle for quite some time. Now, I know the feeling of talking in front of a large crowd. Um, there's a rush to it.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel on stage, man? Now, given all these years of practice and experience, what's Preston got to look forward to?
Here's this thing you have to look forward to, Preston, and you're going to work at it because you have awesome parents simply because of the young man that you are right here in front of me today. So I know that they're going to work with you on this. It's this idea of being extremely present in those moments of extreme excitement. When you step up on that stage and you have So when I was over in Vietnam, I had 500 kids out in the audience one time. And I stepped up on this stage and I looked out at the crowd and they're screaming. They're like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. And as soon as I started talking, crickets, eyes locked on me, listening and hung up on my every single word. You start to realize just how much power your words can hold. You get up on that stage and you are going to get such a thrill of excitement because not only do you recognize that you're getting that excitement and you have their attention, but you know that you're going to have so much to give to these people. You're going to be able to impact these people. It's going to be a feeling like no other.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool, man. Like just being able to have people listen, Preston. Same thing on the show, man. As people listen, they're learning about you, and that builds rapport with people, and that's what you got to do in the public speaking realm is be able to connect with individuals that are sitting there, and it's a skill, but it's an important one. All right, Preston, what other questions you got, dude?
Is your warm up the same when it's cold?
Nah. Dude, I'm a Florida boy born and raised. Where are you at in Florida, Preston?
Um, Fort Lauderdale, near there.
I'm out of there. You know where Sarasota is?
Yes, I've been there for baseball.
All right, dope. Well, that's where I was born and raised, bro. I was born and raised in Sarasota, like we talked about earlier in the show. So you know where I'm from. It's 90 degrees year round, dog. It's not like up here in Ithaca. Up here in Ithaca, for the past month and some change that I've been back, it hasn't gotten above 35 degrees. That's cold, dog. That's cold. So my warm up is a lot different, especially in the cold, because as you get bigger, as you get stronger, like we had this muscle off at the beginning of the show. I know. As you get bigger muscles, right, you're able to produce more force. You're more injury prone if you don't warm those things up good. So my warm up time in the warm versus in the cold, I say I probably do 2 times the amount of warm up. So if it's only 20 minutes in the warm weather, I'm doing about 40 minutes of warm up in the cold weather.
You guys have indoor facilities like indoor fields, domes, and stuff? Yeah.
Big time. So especially when we're at home, it's dope because what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to get in there in the morning time and I'll go through a morning lift routine. It's very light and it's meant to make me feel very explosive and get all my muscles firing. And then I get in and I get hits off the machine because we usually we do double headers in the IB. And then
Oh,
one
wow.
a little different. We don't do first.
Efficient.
Well, Ivy League, if you listen, need to talk. Um, So I'll get in there and I'll get my swings off of that, and then I'll go get something to eat. I'm a big advocate for yoga and stretching. So I do yoga every single morning. I have 20 minutes of yoga that I rope into what I'm doing. If I have to do it at the facility, great. If we're on the road and we're in a hotel, that's also a part of it. I just go into the weight room in the hotel and I get that 20 minutes of yoga done. Then by the time I get out to the field, it's a lot of running. It's a lot of explosive hops. It's just a lot of things to get that body moving and firing.
What's the coldest you ever played in, Preston? You know?
Probably like low 40s.
That's
Well, you
cold.
play a Preston football, right?
Yes.
Have you ever worn one of those like
Hand warmers?
yeah, like the hand warmer thing?
Yes.
I wear that. So when I'm out there in center field, I have a Nike hand warmer that I wear out there, and then I wear long sleeves. And you know, icy hot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's something else. It's called Tiger Balm. It's basically icy hot. What I
Yep.
do, put a big strip of it along the top of my back, and then as I sweat when I run, it cascades down the back and it warms me up while I'm out there, bro. I got all kinds of tips and tricks, dog.
Dude, this is what happens when you put an engineer in cold weather baseball.
We had a problem. I needed to solve that, man.
That's right. Dude, well, let me ask you. Let's. That's good stuff. Do you need to like make a list of these things? Like, yeah, you could do some stuff with that. Like, how much of your game like changed in the cold weather? Because I mean, did it change with the cold weather?
Not willingly. The biggest thing was figuring out after you spent maybe 20 minutes out there in the outfield for an inning, getting back into that dugout,
Yeah.
getting your body warm enough in 5 to 10 minutes to go hit 95, 96 miles an hour. So the biggest change in my game was I got kind of slow at the plate with my swing. Lost a little bit of confidence there for a little while, especially my freshman year. So
Mm.
the biggest thing making sure that I developed a routine and a system to get my body up, moving, and warm before I stepped up to that plate, so that I could be swinging at max capacity, getting the A swing off.
I like that. I mean, that's there's a problem. You got to find a fix for it. I mean, it's it, Preston, dude. That's be a problem solver. No matter what you do in life, man, be a problem solver because there'll always be a place for someone like you, and that's what I get the most kick out of doing, man. That's I love that kind of stuff. So let's say we're some years down the road, and you got this civil engineering degree. What kind of stuff you want to do with it, man?
Big time. MLB. This is after I have a long, fruitful career with
Of
y'all.
course.
I get some rings from my organization. Done with that. It's this big thing with renewable energy. So I have a civil engineering degree, Preston, but you can get these things called minors, or you can get a focus in something while you're here, or concentration. So my major degree is civil engineering, but I have a focus or a minor in renewable energy systems. Renewable energy is just, have you heard of wind turbines, Preston?
Yeah, the movement of it.
Exactly. So you have wind turbines, you have solar panels, you have hydro power, that's like the turbines and all that stuff. So that's where I'm going to be working. It's called the energy transition, basically, Aaron. So we're in a spot right now where we're transitioning from non-renewable energies, our coals, natural gases, all that kind of stuff. And we're starting to implement more renewable energy, right? We want to take CO2 out of the atmosphere. We want to stop the warming. We want to, be a greener society as a whole. So I'm going to be helping aid our country and countries around the world make the switch from non-renewables into renewable energy.
Gotcha. That's pretty freaking awesome, dude. There's no telling after your, we probably play around, 15 years or so, dude.
Like it.
Who knows what we're going to be doing at that time, man? I mean, I feel like we got fast forwarded like almost a decade with inside that year, man. And we might really have flying cars at that point. So, Preston, what else you got, bud? I want to make sure you get everything out here.
What kind of bat do you use?
What kind of bat do I use? I use a 34-inch two-piece. Oh, that didn't sound like you approved. What bat do you use, though?
Oh, I use an Easton High Fire.
That's the it's like yellow at the end, like on the barrel, and it's like red, it's like fire.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're still using what, USSSA bats?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I guess play with a 14U team locally sometimes. So
Okay, so do you use BP core bats yet or no?
I used one this weekend. It was a good.
Copy that. Yeah, when you get to BB core and get some of that on you, you're gonna be swinging a 34 two-piece goods at some point too. I can call it.
You said you have the goods. That's the one you got.
The good.
Yeah.
The good.
All right. What else, Preston?
How many times a day do you hit? Well, a day or a week?
I hit every single day. And I will hit in my morning time, and then I'll go back and I'll hit with the team, whatever we have to do with the team. When I hit in the morning, like I told you, I went to that place called Driveline. So it's super cool because they have a Driveline app, and they give me all of the drills that I need to do for the day because they have their specific weight trainer bats and all that kind of good stuff for bats.
Mm-hmm.
So I have about an hour's worth of stuff with that I do in the morning times. And then I go back at the end of the day with my team, and I could probably have like another 20, 30 minutes.
How often you hit, Preston?
Every day.
Every day. That's
I got
good.
something for you. Phase, Preston. Biggest thing is getting as many swings as you can so that you can understand your body and how your body moves. Because everybody's swing is personalized to them, right? Like no two swings are going to be created the same. Because another thing in this game of baseball that you're going to have to recognize and that you'll start to embody over time is defense. All those drills and stuff that you do for defense. What position do you play?
In football or baseball?
Baseball.
Center field, outfield.
Baseball, bro. Come on. Hello. All those drills that you're doing for center field and baseball, you can perfect your defense. I am known as a defensive center fielder. Like I am really good on defense. When it comes to hitting and swinging, that's an art that can never be perfected. We're always looking for the next drill. We're always looking for the next cue that's going to get us over that little slump. So the biggest thing that you can do at your age is have fun swinging and making sure you gamify as much as possible so that as you get older, as you get bigger, you understand exactly how your body moves and you understand how you want to swing. Make sense?
Yes.
You said gamify. I think that's a key right there. Do you understand what he says gamify? What that means, Preston?
No.
All right.
I got you. When I say gamify, I'll give you an example of it first before I give you a definition. Gamify, one of my closest teammates, his name is John Quinlan. Shout out John Quinlan. Me and him are up every single morning together. We get in the gym, we push each other, we hold each other accountable. It's great to have somebody like that. What we'll do is we'll pull up an L screen and we will literally do innings against each other. So one of us will be out there. We're both hitters. So we'll have the L screen maybe only like 20, 30 feet, not very far, but we will literally do at-bats against one another. And then we'll do 3 or 4 innings like that. And then whoever wins, whoever scores the most amount of runs. So it's like if you hit one in play, it's like, all right, that's a single. Got a ghost runner on first. And it's like you go through. And then by the end of it, whoever loses has to buy the other one Chipotle. And so it's like you have stakes, like you have stakes on the line. Like you have something that you're playing for, and you gamify it. You make it fun. One of the biggest things that I loved about driveline baseball. Have you heard of hit tracks before? It's a baseball team.
The thing that tracks your hit, launch angle.
All of that
Exit
stuff. So
below, all that. Yeah.
when you swing, you hit the baseball. It tells you how hard you hit the baseball and what launch angle you hit the baseball, and it gives you a path of where you actually hit that baseball. So when I was at driveline, it made it so fun to be in a cage, because being in a cage sometimes, especially up here up north, it can get boring after a while, just doing the same things over and over and over again. So by having those things that make it gamified, right, it makes it feel like you are still playing your game. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, even doing T work, like, finding ways, that's with me coaching younger kids, like I've had to learn to gamify hitting off of a tee, just because I have to hold kids' interest a little bit longer, and I have to come up with different things to make it fun. And but yeah, Preston, I think that's like super important, man. Is always keep the fun in everything, even in the training. So, all right, Jakobi, man, we've had you almost for an hour, and we can't let you go anywhere until we ask you our last question. Okay. All right, Preston, do you know what our last question is? This is your first time as being a co-host. Do you know what that last question is?
No.
You
All
can
right,
whisper it. I won't.
you got your ears plugged.
Ears plugged.
All right, walk up song.
Oh, okay.
You want to ask him?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, this is usually the hardest question that we ask. I will say, like it's what we get told all the time, man. Preston, take it away.
Jakobi, what is your walk-up song?
Oh man. Oh, that's easy. Swag. I think it's called Swag. Swag. Surf. Swag.
Oh,
Surf.
that one.
Surf. You can look it up. If we don't know, or if we can't get it, I'll shoot you a text, Aaron, with the actual song, with the
Yeah.
actual artist. But dude, it gets the crowd bumping every single time.
Can you
All right, Preston, you
What
know
was
it?
that?
can you hear the walk-up song when they're super loud?
Yeah, oh yeah. Big time. Yeah. You can still hear it. Dude, it's electric in the stadium, dog.
Preston, you got a lot to look forward to, man. It looks like Mr. Davis has a lot of fun doing what he's doing, and I think that is super important, man. Well, look, I gotta ask you this, because I ask most of our guests, but most of them are 10 years away from getting drafted. Is there a team that you'd like to land with? No offense to any of the other teams out there, because you're gonna go wherever they want you, right? Is there one that you kind of got that special would be nice thing for?
Like in all honesty, from the depths of my heart, at this point, it's just the opportunity, dog.
There you
Like
go.
it's just the opportunity. Now, what I will say though, to give you an answer, when I was out at Driveline has a spot over in Washington, the state,
Mm-hmm.
and I got over there and I got to be at the Seattle Mariners park. Seattle Mariners, if you're hearing this, I'd love to play for y'all, man.
Hey, they've been looking for a Griffey for a while, man.
Hey, Preston, you were talking to me about Griffey, man. I got that lefty pretty swing too, dog.
Dude, look, Griffey has the best swing probably still today. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, look, I'm going to need probably an autographed jersey if you get drafted, dude.
Make it happen. That's too easy.
There we go. Look, see, that's how you do it, Preston. You negotiate. All right, man. Well, look, I appreciated having you on the call, man. Look, I would love for you to come back and even co-host with me sometime, because I think it's fun hanging out with you. Preston, did you have fun with this dude?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, Jakobi. For all of our listeners out there, man, tell them how they can find you on social media, but tell them why they should.
Bet that. So personal is going to be mlb.kobe. Now my business, Champions Voice, is going to be at The Real Champions Voice on Instagram. Why you should follow me? If you liked what I was talking about here in this conversation tonight, every single week I posted at Real Champions Voice Instagram, and you get those little tidbits and nuggets where you get to pick my brain, man. So if that's something that interests you, definitely give those a follow. And I'm always willing to answer any and all questions. Shoot me a direct message on there. Preston, that goes for you as well, man. As you continue on this journey, as you continue with public speaking, always feel free to pick my brain, bro. That's why I do what I do.
Pretty freaking awesome. So, all right. Look, I want to thank everyone out there for listening. You guys are the reason we're still here in our season 4. And honestly, season 4 introduced me to this young man right here. And I'm going to tell you, he's legit. So any MLB team out there listening right now, I hope you've listened to this, because this is an example of someone who you want a part of your organization. I would. So not sorry, Jakobi, I don't hold a lot of water, that I would influence any owners or anything, but I could try, right?
Jakobi, until next time.
Preston, I'll catch you on the slide.
Thanks for joining the action and sharing our love for the game. Now go practice your swing, or at least look like a pro in the mirror. Subscribe and follow the Slide Podcast and the Field Team on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your favorite social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review, a thumbs up, and recommend us to every person you meet. Got a question? Drop it in your review. We might just answer it on the podcast. Keep grinding, dreaming big, and remember, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Till next time, we'll catch you on the slide.